Hey, good morning everyone. Hope you're having a great day so far. So what do I have now? I have a Subaru Forester, and it's got a wheel bearing issue. It turns out the right rear wheel bearing is making a ton of noise. It's very loud. Just sounds like a helicopter going down the road. So I'm going to be changing out that bearing. I actually made a video yesterday of this vehicle when I recharged the AC, and for some reason the video didn't come out quite right. There was a lot of background noise, and it's just like I couldn't publish that video. It was terrible. So let me show you the vehicle real quick. This one right here, this Forester, and right here I'm going to be doing the right rear wheel bearing. I pulled the other rear wheel off because I wanted to double check the brakes, and the brakes themselves, as you can see, they got plenty of meat on them, but this wheel bearing has quite a bit of noise to it. So I'm going to do this wheel bearing right now. Relatively simple to do. These are a bolt-in if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to find out. Anyway, the caliper, you got to unbolt the bracket. You may as well take the bracket off as an assembly with the pads. Take it off, hang it to the side. Take the rotor off, take the axle nut off. So let me go that far. Let me take the caliper assembly off and let me take the rotor off and let's see what we got. So there we go, pretty simple so far. I stuck the caliper up off to the side, and now, like I said, I'm going to take the nut off, and then it is a bolt-in like I thought it was. And it's got 4 bolts coming in from this side. See them there. So I'm going to do that, unbolt everything, and then that should hopefully come straight out. Since we're down south, usually they don't get rusted in place, but we're going to find out. As you can see, I got the nut off. So now, to get to the bolts in the back, I'm really just going to use a ratchet and go on there. It's a 14 millimeter. They're not super tight. You know, you would think they might be tighter, but they're not. I mean, there. I didn't touch that from before. I just broke that free now. So, unscrew this. And like I said, I have high hopes that this is just going to come right out without too much of an issue since we are down south. There you go. So I did already take the top one out. So now I'm going to work on getting the 2 out from this side. This side's a little more, not complicated, but you got a little less room, believe it or not, to get to the 2 in front. So let me get those out, and then hopefully this whole thing should come straight out. And there you can actually see the parking brake shoes and how the parking brake system works. So make sure you guys use your parking brake. I always recommend that, especially from a newer car. Always use it because it keeps everything in adjustment too, especially if your parking brake goes through the calipers. That keeps everything in adjustment as well, but using them keeps everything working the way it should, and it helps you keep the actual material from the backing here, keeps them from falling off because you're constantly using them. I always use my parking brake non-stop every time I come to a stop, parking brake's on. There we go, we got all the bolts out now. So now this thing should be relatively free. Hopefully it should come out with ease. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it lightly with a hammer and see if that does anything. And it did start moving already, I think. Yeah. You can see it's moving. Now I remember doing one of these up north, and I'll explain what the problem was with that, because once I got it off, yeah, and actually this one's doing it too. The whole thing comes off with the backing plate. See that? And this is where you need an assistant, because what you wind up doing is you wind up having to hold the backing plate and then having somebody else whack the hub with a bigger hammer and try to drive it through. So you can see there's some rust on there. I don't know why they made it this way, but that's how they make it. Quite a few other manufacturers do it this way too. So like I said, I can't video it, but I'm going to hold it with 2 hands, you know, basically hold the backing plate, you know, by the brake shoes probably, hold it, and then just have somebody smack this. Oh, and in case you're wondering, how does the ABS system work on these things? As you see, the sensor hangs down into the hole there. The back of the bearing, you see that gray piece? That's actually a magnet. And see how that rotates? And it's got little windows on the magnet, and that's the tone ring. Because you used to have a tone ring on the axle on a lot of vehicles. These don't use that. Honda started doing this many, many years ago. I'm sure they probably weren't the first, but they're the ones that utilized it the most. So that's kind of how that whole system works, through that magnet. So if you ever have like a older Honda where you have a press-in bearing, make sure you press the bearing in the right way. One side will have a gray finish, the other side will have a metal finish. So there is a difference. And in case you're ever wondering, like in case you don't know, get some, like a light piece of metal, a piece of tin, and see which side it sticks to. Because if it sticks to the one side, that's the side that has to go towards the sensor. All right, so let me get somebody to help me by whacking that thing out. I may be able to do it by myself, but if not, I'm gonna have somebody come and help me. So actually, that took no effort at all. Yeah, just I was holding it like this, and with my other hand hitting the center of that with a hammer, and it just basically dropped out. And I was using my lighter hammer too, that one. So that's not my big dead blow, that's my smaller dead blow, and it worked perfectly. Drove it right out. I said, you deal with vehicle up north, and you got to deal with that heavy rust on that edge there. Take something and sand it down. Try to get as much of that off as possible, so you're not fighting it the whole way through. All right, so let's put this back on, and let's get the new hub bearing in place. Yeah, here's the new hub bearing. So let's do that. And just like that, I laid it in place. Try to semi-line up the holes. This way I could slide it over the axle and get it semi-close. This way I can catch the bolts through the backing into the hub bearing. And so there we go. You can see that upper bolt is caught. Now what I had to do is I used this tool here. This is something I had to make a long time ago, and I'll explain that one day. It was a screwdriver, and I had to shave the tip off and make it flat. But anyway, I still have this in my toolbox. But basically I used it to go through the hole and to line it up and try to maneuver around the hub just to get it so the bolt holes lined up. So that's in now. So now I'm going to tighten up the 4 bolts, and we're going to basically, like I always say, reverse procedure to install. So let's get this all done and back together. Now when you're tightening the bolts up that hold it in place, make sure you torque them to spec. Now let's say you don't know what the spec is, you don't have access to it, whatever. Try to remember how you took it off and what it felt like, and basically tighten it up to that point. Like, I can go much tighter than this, but I'm not going to. And I'd be willing to bet I'm probably darn close to spec. You know, because I remember what it took to get it apart. So don't go nuts and, just tighten the snot out of it and everything else. Same thing goes for the axle nut. Make sure you tighten the axle nut the right way. So let me get everything tightened up and torqued down and everything else, and then we're going to do our final assembly. So now I get to install the axle nut. This is a stake in place axle nut. Once it's tight, you're supposed to stake down the end here. If I had both sides apart, I'd probably swap the axle nuts left to right, because it's almost guaranteed that you'll never line up in the same spot. But now when I put this on and I torque it, I can almost guarantee you that that's going to line up with that. Almost guarantee it. So you're supposed to replace these if you can. None of my part stores has the right nut for me. They have like the self-locking style. I don't want to use that because that's not what it calls for. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on, I'm going to torque it, and if you remember correctly, in a previous video when I spoke about torquing these, you can put the rotor on and stick a punch in between the fins of the rotor and the caliper bracket to lock it in place. Well, guess what? That's a non-vented rotor. So now what? Well, I'm going to show you. Let me get this down a little further, and then I'm going to torque it and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so there you go. And I have my torque wrench set, hold on a second, there we go, to 162. That's what the spec is. So now, with that on the ground like that pry bar, me putting this on here, I can actually torque this the way I needed to. Let's see if I can get on there. I still have it loose. So I just turned that by hand. Sorry if the camera went off of that. So now, there we go. Now we're torqued. That's the easy way to do that. So let me put this back up in the air, and then let me finish up what I'm doing. Do the final reassembly. Now that we're back up in the air and torqued, to my surprise, this is actually in a slightly different position. So there must be a slight machining difference between this hub and the other one. As you can see, this is a CarQuest. It's a CarQuest Premium hub. But anyway, so now I can actually stake down the end here. Basically, you're just going to use a chisel, like so, or a punch. This is a very dull chisel, and I use it for this purpose. And basically, you're going to wind up smacking that down. So let me get that part of it done, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And there we go. And like, it's just basically to help prevent it from coming off, kind of like what a cotter pin would do if this thing had a, like a slit for a cotter pin. It does basically the same thing. So now I can just reassemble. I can put the rotor on, put the caliper on, put the wheels on, and then I'm all done. And there we go, all back together. So now I'm going to let it down, and we're going to take this thing for a road test. All right, let's go on a road test. You can see it's 89 degrees out, but let me tell you, it is really humid, so it is really hot. And I'm not sure if I mentioned before, it's a 2014 Subaru Forester. So, anyway, let's go for a road test. All right, so I'm on my little dead-end road right around the corner from the shop. Let's go down the street. It used to sound like a helicopter following you beforehand, and that's actually what the customer said. It sounds like there's a helicopter nearby. So, it's quiet. It's nice and quiet now. I mean, that was a loud wheel bearing. I wish I would have filmed it beforehand, but it was very loud. I just didn't have a chance to. So I'm happy with that. That's all good. And sometimes when I was listening to it, it almost sounded like it was coming from the other side as well, you know, the driver's side. Because sometimes the sound will travel from one side to the other. But it was definitely coming from that side, and obviously it's fixed now. So anyway, I hope you got something out of that. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. That's it. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.